All right, let's call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let me know I'm warm right now. All right, folks, just got to pause for a moment. There's not 4 planning board members sitting at the bench. So. Which folder? I didn't see the folder.
Oh,
open.
it should have been the.
I didn't see it.
There you go. Documents.
Okay.
See, it's right there.
Yeah, I just didn't know what to click on first.
I should really go
I got it.
in.
I got it.
Just-
I got it.
No, I have a.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so our previous meeting was November 17th. Under new business, we had the 207 Dual Hall Road Channel Stabilization Project. We had a motion for the application of the Highway Superintendent, increase the escrow to $3,000. And we set a site walk, which we'll discuss a bit tonight. And then had a public hearing on Wingdale Solar, and we heard from members of the public, and then had a motion to leave the public hearing open for public comments until Monday, December 1st, until noon. That passed. And then a resolution to appoint Secretary of the Planning Board for next year, appoint the planning consultant, the engineer, and the attorney. And then we also set the meeting and deadline schedule, for 2026. And then we adjourn the meeting.
There's a mistake.
Okay.
The minutes, I have the October date there. I'll change it to November.
Where?
See? Remember, approve. Oh, no, that's right.
That's for the minutes
That's
from
correct.
October.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No worries. I think we're good. All right. Any discussion on the minutes?
On here.
Any discussion? Need a motion to approve the minutes. Motion made by Member Villano. Second. By Member Palmer. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 5-0 with 2 absences. Excuse me. All right. All right. Next on the agenda, we have Camp Rama, the Phyla lot line change. We have representative from Camp Rama, Phyla lot line change. Okay, we can just talk about it briefly then. All right. They were before us, was it earlier this year?
March, I believe.
March, right. Okay. So this is regarding properties, eastern portion of Wingdale along Weil Road for a lot line change between 2 parcels. And let me just bring up the latest update here now is let's see, a memo saying from Mr. Phyla saying that review the proposed lot line change. Him and his wife have no objections to it, and then there's a settlement agreement between the 2 parties. So, Attorney Polidoro, if you want to maybe just talk for a moment about kind of what comes next.
Sure. So at the time, the board could not proceed with the application because it was a transfer of land between 2 parties, but one party hadn't signed the agreement. So this letter and this backup agreement now authorize the application to continue before this board. So tonight, you would be simply characterizing it as a type 2 action under seeker, and then setting a public hearing, which would be the next step to move it forward.
Okay. All right. So again, opportunity for the applicant or their consultant to come to the podium. All right. This will proceed. Need a motion to set this as a type 2 action under secra. Motion made by Member Williams, seconded by Member Villano. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that motion passes 5-0 with 2 absences. Our next meeting,
January 5th.
January 5th, right?
While you're looking at that, I will say that my notes show that there were still some technical questions and items to be addressed from Joe's review back in March, so something they'll have to
Yeah, before
address
we
moving
go
forward.
to setting the public hearing, maybe we'll hear from Engineer Berger and Planner Warner, just see if they have anything to add.
We had a comment memo for the March 2025 meeting that really didn't have much on our end. We did recognize that it was a type 2 and that the filers needed to sign off on it, which they had not, so we held off on doing anything at the March 17th meeting. Yeah, I mean, it was a transfer of 4.2 acres from the filers to the camp property. We thought that everything on the plat looked okay. There were some notes that we had asked for that were put on. So, yeah, I think I'll just turn it over to Joe if he has anything else.
No, I was concerned with whether there were any septic or wells in the area. There isn't,
Right.
so I'm fine with what's been presented.
Attorney Polidoro, anything further to add? Okay. Seeing nothing further, any members of the planning board have any comments or
No
questions
comment
of
here.
our consultants? No? Okay. We'll need a motion to set a public hearing for the Camp Rama lot line adjustment for January 5th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the planning board can hold such public hearing. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Member Williams?
Member Williams. Discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, that motion passes 5-0 with 2 absences. Secretary Van Millen, if you could just reach out to the applicant or their consultant, just, we set a public hearing, they need to come and get their sign.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, anything further on Camp Rama then? No? All right, moving on. All right, next on the agenda is discussion of 207 Dual Hollow Road channel stabilization. So we had a site walk. Is there a representative from 207 Dual Hollow Road? Come to the podium. For 2, that's fine. I think we said at the site walk it was just going to be, we're going to discuss what happened today. It wasn't like they had to be here, sort of thing. It was Engineer Berger and myself, and help me out, Member Palmer. And you were not there. And that was it? Yeah, I guess that was it. We just looked at the property. You can see where the water flows predominantly north under Dual Hollow Road. Onto the property, makes a pretty hard right turn, and then it goes kind of northeast for a bit, then makes a hard left turn. So the idea is to really just straighten out that channel and stabilize it. You can see a lot of erosion concerns that have come up over the years. I mean, it looks like it was just a project that was done maybe decades ago, just to try and make it look nice and, you know, just kind of redirect the stream a bit. But Engineer Burgers, or anything you wanted to,
Well, we did observe a small
Yeah.
dam there that would be,
yes.
that was placed apparently a while ago to try to slow down the water.
Right.
And
To be clear, a small dam the size of maybe that piece of black,
very small, yeah. It's
yeah, very small. dam.
non-functioning, basically.
Right, it's concrete and it eroded away over the
More
years.
for aesthetics, I think.
Yes, there was like a
And,
bench there to sit at. Yeah.
So the highway superintendent does have a plan to increase and replace that culvert in his capital budgets. So he is requesting that the applicant coordinate their work when they do get their permits with the highway department. So the culvert replacement can be done at the same time as any work on the stream is, so there's no interrupt, for proper two jobs working together.
Right.
But he has no problem. I spoke with him this afternoon. He has no other issues with the site other than that. He plans on increasing the size of the culvert as the FEMA allows, based on former flooding in the area. You're allowed to upsize a culvert one size in the normal FEMA permitting. So he, our other concern on there, which we expressed to the applicant, was that the wetlands that are shown on the parcel access and on the wetland maps from DEC are pretty close to where they are planning to terminate their work. That needs to be better defined so that we know that they're not actually going into the wetland or wetland buffer. I understand they filed the JD, which is the jurisdictional determination with the state. I think it's now a couple weeks ago. So that's a 90-day turnaround before they find out
Yeah.
whether it is a state wetland or not. If it's not a state wetland, they still have to determine where the federal limit is.
Right.
The difference is the federal limit has no buffer.
Right.
So they could go right up to, technically, right up to the edge of that federal wetland without needing a federal wetland permit. The only exception to that is if the federal wetland runs up the stream bank slightly, if they affect any bank of the stream within the federal wetland area, that constitutes needing a permit.
Right.
I think they're assuming it's going to need a federal permit, which is the nationwide permit of 1/10 of an acre. So that would cover any disturbance to the federal.
Right.
The big wild card is whether they have to cut back on what they want to do or apply for a DEC wetland disturbance or a buffer disturbance.
Right.
And that will be determined once they get their JD. But other than that, the plan, or what they plan on doing with the relocation, filling in, and armorizing with stone is perfectly acceptable methods. It's just whether they need the DEC permits.
Right. And so the DEC has essentially 13 weeks to 90 days, 13
Yeah,
weeks. To,
and they're
so they're
taking-
about maybe 2 or 3 weeks into that 13 weeks.
Yeah, they're taking the whole 90 days too.
DEC.
Yes, they
Right,
are.
yes, we
They're-
discussed that as well.
They're
That,
so overloaded, they're going to get it right around the 90th day, if not the 91st, after they send the letter in.
Right.
Our experience is the 90 days goes by, we send in, the way the DEC works is 90 days you don't hear, you must file a letter to them stating the 90 days are off certified
Right.
to get a 10-day clock going. If they don't respond within that 10 business days from receipt of the certified
two
letter,
more weeks,
it is
okay.
concluded that it's not a state wetland for 5 years. So they
then they
have,
might respond and say,
they typically do.
Yeah.
That 10-day clock, once they get that letter, they seem to put it to the top of the list. And you get a letter the next day in the email. They don't mail it to you, they email it to you.
well, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
So 90 days, so basically 3 months we're talking. So
Yeah.
if it was the end of November, end of December, end of January, end of February or so is when
So
the applicant might hear something from DEC or not hear something and then have to file in March.
well, the concern is the trees that need to be cut down.
Right.
If they wait too long, they're not going to be able to cut the trees down.
Because it's
Because of
sort of
the Indiana bat period.
bat.
But we've expressed that to them. That's in their hands.
Right.
We have advised them of that.
Engineer Berger, anything further? Good?
No, that's
Okay.
Planner wants that 90 days is just for DEC to say, yeah, it looks like you might have jurisdictional wetlands here.
Right.
Doesn't mean
Doesn't mean it's done. It's
right.
maybe,
They don't
maybe
show
it
you.
started.
They don't really tell you the limits. That's your job to go out and do.
Cool.
So if they get that positive determination, it's called, they would have to delineate and then go back to them with, and have that field delineation verified.
Right.
And they can't delineate until we're in the growing season, which is like
Right.
April, right? So like, there's a little bit of time here, I think we're going to be waiting,
Yeah.
if they get that positive JD from
Right.
DEC. Yeah, they're not, you can't delineate now. It's not, the window is not the winter, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and otherwise, I wasn't there, but I heard there was something about an old chimney.
Yeah, so there was, as we were kind of wrapping up, there's just a chimney on the property at the intersection, where, Dual Hollow and, is that Bird's Hill, maybe?
Yep.
So I just pointed out that, maybe this is some historic chimney. I don't think it is, but just, I didn't want it to kind of go through the whole process and then someone's, like, oh, George Washington slept under that chimney or something, and then we got a big problem, so.
Well, yeah, I looked on the state's cultural resource information system.
Right.
They don't have anything identified for that property as for archaeology or architectural significance. So
I mean, you could see the, the mortar or whatever you want to call it in the side of the chimney. You could see, where there was, the siding for the
Probably a
house,
house that was
so it's probably just
taken down
a
and
house
left.
got torn down. They left the chimney. It kind of looks neat.
I reached out to the applicant and did ask if they can provide background about
Yeah,
what,
if they
what
know
that's about.
what it's- Haven't heard yet.
Yeah, but if this is a state permitting process with DEC because of the wetlands that come up,
Yeah.
they'll probably be required to talk to SHPO as part of that. So,
Right.
because state permits require SHPO to look at things. So
Right.
there's a chance it'll be looked at formally in that manner. If we're sitting here waiting for them for a few months anyway, we could ask them to do the consult with SHPO now just to clear it or
Right.
just to see what's going on. That's
Yeah.
a possibility.
Just looking at this plan set now, the only, I guess, other concern is, is the proposed temporary soil stockpile near the chimney. Is that some kind of issue?
Yeah.
But,
I haven't
uh,
heard back from the applicant when I asked about what
But
the
again, so that,
history is.
I don't think I have the pointer here, but, so I'll just use the mouses. So the water goes under the road here, and then you can see that the present course of the water takes it towards the house. This is where that little dam is. What is it, maybe a 2-foot drop? Yeah. And then it goes this way. So then again, the proposal is to just have it, just really straighten it out more and connect back up with where the water goes now, over here. And, just the concern is, where does the swamp, the wetlands, where does that start? It starts somewhere near where they want to reconnect to the current water stream, so, maybe it's a concern,
And 100 feet is the
Maybe not.
state adjacent area, also known as buffer,
right?
100 feet from the wetland. So,
Okay. So anything else you want
Not
to
from
add
me.
from
Nope.
that? I know this memo. Right. Yes, you included this in your memo. This.
right.
This
so
blob.
The pink, yeah, the pink is the DEC's new, what they call informational wetland layer.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is it was developed based on GIS analysis, aerial photo interpretation, LiDAR data, whatever
Right.
staff at DEC used to come up with those polygons. It doesn't mean that's where it is, but
Right.
they'll look at that as part of that JD request by the applicant.
Yeah. You can see it joins up somewhere.
It's close.
Yeah, it joins up kind of like right around here. So you're saying that if this right here is within 100 feet of this line,
Or the line
I mean, you can see the size of the house. From here to here is not 100 feet, so.
well, yeah, and that, again, the pink
that's
is
why they have to
not
delineate
the
it.
actual, right, it's
Right.
an
It's
approximation.
an approximation.
So the field delineation done by the applicant's professionals has to be reviewed by DEC also, and then it's that delineation, wetland boundary, 100 feet from that to the area of work. If the area of work is within 100 feet, they need a permit. If it's not, they're cleared.
Right. Okay. Attorney Polidoro, anything to add here?
just, at this point, the onus is on the applicant to come back to the planning
Right.
board when it has new
Right.
information.
Members of the planning board, anybody who's there have anything further to add, or anybody who wasn't there have any comments, questions?
I don't see any
Yeah.
big issue with this project.
Right, yeah, but like Attorney Polidoro said, we're basically, we're not going to see this again till maybe March.
March, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, nothing further to discuss here. The next item up for discussion is Wingdale Solar. Before we have this discussion and before we have the applicant and/or their consultants come to the podium, Member Palmer?
Yes, because this project is so close to home, literally, I think it would be in everybody's best interest if I recuse myself. And Mr. Chair, if I can exit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Wingdale Solar, thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Cordy and members of the board. Thank you for having us again. Thank you, Planner Werner, for sharing the draft of the FEAF Part 2 with us. We submitted some responses in writing to those today, so we understand that it's not in the record officially, but if you would allow us to join the discussion on the points in the forum, and we can go through those point by point, we'd be happy to do that here,
Okay.
and we can submit these to be distributed for the record as soon as possible.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to say? Is that good?
That's basically it. Today I have Rob with me. He's our Director of Development, and we have Mark as well from Wendell, who's our engineering consultant. I don't think I have any substantial updates other than the last meeting I mentioned we would set up a project website with some information, and we have done that, and I will work with Secretary Van Millen to figure out how best we distribute that so people can see materials that are before the town, and as we update them in real time, we can update them on that website too, so people can stay up to date on what's going on with the project. Currently linked is the site plan, the VIA, I think the decommissioning plan. But any of these letters that I'm submitting to town also as part of the course of development, we can put those there too so everyone can read them. I think they're obviously all on the Dover website as well, but
Right.
we'll have that set up as well.
Okay. I just want to reiterate, I know I said at the last meeting, just want to reiterate, just be 100% sure that whatever is on your website is also officially submitted to the town, or whatever you officially submit to the town is also on your website, just
Yep.
so it's just, I think applicants for larger projects having their own website makes a lot of sense, but it just we've seen it happen in the past where there ends up being confusion where, wait, this was submitted, but now your website says that, or whatever.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And obviously, we as the town planning board are going to go off of what you submit to us. Officially, we don't care what's on your website.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
We care what you submit to us. So,
Understood.
just in case there is ever the website says one thing and what you submitted says something else. So,
At deadlines, to submit something today is not going to get to the planning board members to read because
Yeah.
they work.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the deadlines are for you also.
Yep,
Yeah.
understood. Yep.
Okay.
And we are working on an update to the site plan that's going to include some additional screening proposed. And
Right.
the plan is to have that submitted to the board in time for the February meeting. So that'll be coming in January.
yeah. So, just for everyone's knowledge, the deadline for the January 5th meeting is this Wednesday at noon, December 17th.
Right.
So, and then the next deadline is January 14th for the February 2nd meeting.
Yep.
And because of federal holidays, there is only one meeting in January and one meeting in February. So then the next meeting would be the first Monday of March.
Understood.
Okay. And the deadline for that would be around mid-February.
I have it written down somewhere,
Yeah,
yes. Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's go with Any members of the planning board have any comments or questions before we turn it over to our consultants here? Nothing you want to say? Not at this time. Ever, Lorbadier, anything? Okay. All right, so, Attorney Polidoro, we had the public hearing. We closed the public hearing, left it open for public comment to the 1st of December. We did receive some more written comments, correct, Secretary Millen?
Yes, we did, and we received one after the cutoff date, and I
Right.
did send it to the applicant and put it up on the website
Right.
after I received it.
Okay. All right. And so I don't know if you just want to maybe walk us through it a little bit.
Sure.
Thank
So at the last meeting, we went through what seeker is, the purpose of it. And so you had a public hearing to elicit comments from the public on potential environmental impacts. And so tonight, Planner Warner has prepared a draft part 2 of the environmental assessment form, and that's the opportunity for the board to go through the questions and identify potentially significant impacts, and then to evaluate those impacts. And so he's prepared to walk you through it, and I'm here to help answer questions based on information in the application that you heard from the public and your own knowledge of the area.
Okay, and we're gonna get to this momentarily. And just to be clear, whatever we put into this document is what we're deciding as the planning board. The consultants are just advising us, so it is our decision to make. So aside from the document, which we'll go through, is there anything else you wanted to add, Planner Warner?
No, I mean, just understanding that what Part 2 is about, the title of it is Identification of Potential Project Impacts. And it has 18 questions with sub-questions under each. And basically what you're doing here is you're going through each category. I'll go through what the guidance of the DEC has, how to answer these questions. We'll talk about the site and the project and how they fit into these. If there's an area where there's a potential for significant adverse impacts, we can discuss that. It only takes one of those for the board to possibly make a finding of a positive declaration, which would
Right.
require preparation of environmental impact statement. So that's the discussion we can have after we go through it. We do have some areas where we did check off moderate to large impact, particularly with regard to not complying with zoning, which is has been a big issue for this project since it came back.
Right.
So, yeah, with that, I think we'll just start with the top. And I have notes from the DEC's EAF workbooks, which are pretty helpful in working through some of these questions and what they say as far as what they think is a smaller impact or a moderate impact or a large impact. But again, it's your document to complete. So with that, we can start with...
All right, just before we do that,
Yep.
Engineer Berger, do you have anything to add at this time? Okay, thank you. All right.
So the first category is impact on land, and the main question is the proposed action may involve construction or physical alteration of the land surface of the project, of the proposed site. And this should be a yes, just because the guidance from the DEC is that, you're disturbing the land to build something, but there's going to be physical alteration to the land. You should just check yes, and then we can go through each of the sub-questions here. A is the proposed action may involve construction on land where depth of water table is less than 3 feet. I had checked no or small for that because here it's greater than 3 feet.
Mhm.
And the guidance is that if there's no chance to encounter groundwater as a result of the construction, you don't really need to do much more. It's no or small impact. B, the proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater. There are some slopes on the site. I don't believe they are proposing anything on the steep slopes. They're doing minor regrading in some areas. So for that, I put a no or small as well.
Right, there are some steeper slopes, like in the northwest
I think
portion
on the
of
Route 22 side.
Yeah, but there's no solar panels proposed
No.
in that location. All right, and Engineer Berger, leading down like the northeast portion, there's slopes, are they greater than 15%?
Yeah, but they're not really doing anything on them. They're terracing across them, so they're not changing the slopes.
Right, okay.
They're not cutting into them and altering the grading within the 15%. They're,
Okay,
the way they put the solar panels down, they're terraced.
right, okay.
C is about bedrock. The proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 feet of existing ground surface. Here, the bedrock's deeper than 5
Yeah,
feet,
we haven't seen any evidence.
according to the data that's available, and what
I mean,
they provided.
it's farmland, there was no, yeah.
Right, so a no or small impact I thought was appropriate for that. Next is D. Proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material. There's not much excavation proposed here, so I put no or small impact.
Okay.
E. Proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than a year or in multiple phases. We've been told that it's about a 6-month construction process, so for that reason I put no or small. F, proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal, including from treatment by herbicides. In this case, the guidance from DEC says that you could deem something a small impact if there's going to be a SWIP in place, a stormwater pollution prevention plan, to cover all or small percentage of the project. And, you know, that's usually a grounds for saying no or small impact. It'll be controlled by the SWIP that Joe has been already taking a look at and
Right.
has some comments on, but I think a stormwater erosion concern is not a moderate to large impact
Right.
on this one.
Engineer Berger, their part of their proposal is to have those, what do they call those channels? That would that would, so the water running to any down any hills would be in a sense check dammed. Yeah,
Check dams and
right.
spill, you know, and they were going to put some French drains in. We suggested they become raised French drains.
Right.
So the water, so basically their SWIP is fine. We asked them to modify it some to make it more effective, and they've complied with the request.
Okay.
And I can go through some of the guidance from DEC about what constitutes a large impact when it comes to this question, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if
One-
it comes up, we don't need to go
Okay.
through everything.
we can
We don't
skip-
have to go through everything if we
All
just
right.
all agree.
If the board agrees, we'll move on to question 2. Oh, sorry, there was one more about coastal
Yeah, it's coastal erosion. I don't think that's going to be
Not
an
an
issue. So,
issue.
all right. So, anybody have any concerns about number 1, impact on land? William? No. Another over here? No. Okay.
Okay, so number 2 is on geological features. The main question is the proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. Cliffs, dunes, minerals, fossils, caves.
The answer is no.
The answer is no, based on primarily on the EAF mapper, DEC's database that fills out the part 1 that the applicant prepared. Didn't identify any unique geological features in this area or on this
There were
site.
no cliffs or caves on our site walk of the.
So that's a no to the main question without the need to answer the sub-questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3, impacts on surface water.
Yeah, so the main question here is the proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies. So we check yes because the site does contain wetlands or other surface water bodies.
Along the roadway into the site. Yeah.
There's an intermittent stream, and there's also that pond that's in like the northeast area of the site. So, however, most of these, I think actually all of these sub-questions, I had checked no or small impact simply because the applicants received a letter from DEC saying they have no jurisdiction on this site for wetlands or watercourses.
Because the wetland on the site is not connected to any other wetland.
Right.
Is that why, Engineer Berger? Just it's kind of its own separate wetland.
I
Okay.
think it had to do with the size of it too, right? But
Okay,
But
so the
they-
proposed action may create a new water body, no. The proposed action may result in an increase or decrease of over
They're not
10% or
altering
more than
anything.
10 acres, increase or decrease in the surface area of any body of water, no.
They're not
Proposed
dredging.
action may, what?
Mhm.
Engineer- What, Planner Warner?
He said
Yeah.
they're not altering any wetlands.
They're not altering wetlands or water courses, they're not dredging from anything. D has to do with construction within or adjoining a freshwater or tidal wetland or in the banks of a water body, no or small impact. E is the proposed action may create turbidity in a water body, either from upland erosion, runoff, or by disturbing bottom sediments. F, the proposed action may include construction of one or more intakes for withdrawal of water from surface water. That's not proposed here. G, the proposed action may include construction of one or more outfalls for discharge of wastewater to a surface water. That's not happening here. The proposed action may cause soil erosion or otherwise create a source of stormwater discharge that may lead to siltation or other degradation of receiving water bodies. In this case, again, there's going to be a SWIP to control, to come up with the plan to mitigate stormwater from the surfaces of the panels, from the road, all the components of the project. I, the proposed action may affect the water quality of any water bodies within or downstream of the site of the proposed action. Again, that's tied to the SWIP. J, the proposed action may involve the application of pesticides or herbicides in or around any water body. That's not proposed.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm that. You're not proposing the use of any pesticides or herbicides?
No.
K, the proposed action may require the construction of new or expansion of existing wastewater treatment facilities. It's
No.
not the case here. And that's it. So I just wanted to add, they're also, because the state DEC has no jurisdiction, the intermittent stream and whatever's out there, it falls under the federal jurisdiction. The applicant is already in the process of getting a permit for, or they're going to have to get a permit for the crossing of the intermittent stream with the main road,
Right.
which they've already started that process with Army Corps of Engineers in getting that. It's a nationwide permit, 14, I believe. It has to do with the access roads. I don't know the
Is
number.
it 14 or 41?
Oh, it's 40.
I think
Could be
yeah.
41, I got it
got a one.
backwards.
Water quality certification you gotta get.
Yep. Maybe that's.
So because of that process, like I think there's, and the SWIP, there's a lot already proposed as part of the project to address these things, so a no or small impact related to that category, surface water, I think is appropriate.
All right, so members of the planning board, impacts in surface water, yes, but every sub-question is a no or small impact. Any discussion? Nope. Okay, number 4.
All right, 4 is groundwater.
Okay, so proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have a potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. So your suggestion is no. Any members of the planning board have any comments or questions on it being no? I think it seems pretty straightforward. Okay, impact on flooding. Proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. The answer is no.
No floodplain.
Right, it's on top of a hill. Any comments or questions there? No? No. Okay, impact on air. The proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. That answer is no. Any questions on that? Okay, number 7, impacts on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. So the suggestion is yes. Planner Werner, if you could proceed.
Yeah, so because the site has potential to contain species based on the DEC's EAF mapper and the federal U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service databases, it's appropriate to say yes here. However, on the other questions, which we can go through each one, because the applicant has already begun consulting with both those agencies on their project and these species and how to mitigate impacts to them, I thought that it would be appropriate to have no or small because they're working out plans with each agency to address these types of impacts, like an encounter plan for bog turtle, I think they mentioned, is something that DEC asked for. They're going to have openings under the fences for small animals to be able to move through the site, things that are common for solar projects. And, tree removal would be limited to the window that is applicable for the Indiana bat. Those are things that they're already proposing. So because it's, they're built into the project already, I felt that a no or small impact would be appropriate.
Okay. So just going through each of them really quickly, the proposed action may cause reduction in the population or loss of individuals of any threatened or endangered species as listed by New York State or the federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site. No or small impact. The proposed action may result in a reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any rare, threatened, or endangered species listed by New York State or the federal government. No or small impact. Proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any species of special concern or conservation need listed by New York State or the federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site. No or small impact. The proposed action may result in the reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any species of special concern and conservation need as listed by New York State or the federal government. No or small impact. The proposed action may diminish the capacity of a registered national natural landmark to support the biological community it's established to protect. No or small impact. The proposed action may result in the removal of or ground disturbance in any portion of a designated significant natural community. No or small impact. The proposed action may substantially interfere with nesting / breeding, foraging, or overwintering habitat for the predominant species that occupy or use the project site. No or small impact. The proposed action requires the conservation of more than 10 acres of forest, grasslands, or any other regionally or locally important habitat. No or small impact. Proposed action, commercial, industrial, or recreational projects only, involves use of herbs or pesticides. Not going to use any herbs or pesticides, so no or small impact. Okay, on number 7, does any members of the planning board have any comments or questions when it comes to impact on plants or animals? That yes, proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna, but all the impacts are non-existent or small.
And I'll add to that, if I may, just that they did a habitat assessment report, right, where they had a biologist go out and see what's out there, and those are what the agencies have also been looking at.
Okay. All right, number 8, impact on agricultural resources. Proposed action may impact agricultural resources. So your suggestion is no. It is farmland.
Right. So I can talk about what the guidance says on this one.
Okay.
The main question, right, that you answer yes or no on before you answer the sub questions. The guidance from DEC is, quote, if any agriculture activities are taking place on or adjacent to the project site, or if the project site is within a New York State agricultural district, the proposed project may have adverse impacts on farming. If so, check yes and answer the sub questions. If no agriculture is taking place on or adjacent to the site, or if the property is not part of a New York State agricultural district, check no. So that's why I check no, because it's not actively farmed. It's not in the ag district either.
Okay. So not in an ag district.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, who is the current owners of, have they been paying it?
I believe it's being mowed. The
Okay.
owners are Charlotte Street Associates, and they have not been farming it and have no intention to.
Okay. So can you give us any indication last time it may have been used agriculturally?
I believe we submitted an agricultural data statement, and
Okay.
that should have some of that information on it.
All right.
I don't
That
know off the
just
top of my
tells
head.
you what
With the
other,
neighbors.
that just tells you what other farms are within 500 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
But this isn't a farm. It's not, it's not in the ag district. It's not getting the exemption. I think the guidance is pretty clear. We're not taking away an active farm. So
Okay.
I thought it would be
So
that answer. But
my suggestion for the planning board is just looking at this and just out of abundance of caution would be that the proposed action may impact agricultural resources, yes, but that all the impacts would be non-existent or small. I mean, I know what the guidance says, but someone could reasonably just start farming that in the spring if they wanted to. I mean, not anyone, obviously, you have to own the land, but I'm just saying it could be farmed. It's not as though it's a forest that you clear cut and then decide to farm, or it's unfarmable land. I mean, I think the proposed action may impact agricultural resources. It may impact agricultural resources.
Yeah, so you should change it to yes, and then you can check no or small if that's what you feel. This is where your local knowledge comes in more
Yeah.
than.
So let's just go through each of those to see if it is in fact a no or small impact maker. And again, I just want to be clear, this isn't my decision. Any members of the planning board have any thoughts on yes or no?
I think you're right.
Okay. Okay. All right. So A, the proposed action may impact soil classified within soil group 1 through 4 of the New York State Land Classification System. So it's no or a small impact may occur.
So
There's some there.
there's some there,
Right.
and they've showed us that. They've showed us an exhibit in the plan set. They actually have soils exhibit
Right.
that shows where these, prime
And they're
farmland
not
type
trucking
soils.
out tons of
No, and the
soil.
idea is that, if the project is, when it's removed in the future, if it's, once it's done and,
Right, this could go
decommissioned,
back
it
to
could
being
go
a
back
farm
to being
30
a
years
farm.
from now or something, so.
It's not the type of project that's going to take away the fertility of the soil.
Right, okay. The proposed action may sever, cross, or otherwise limit access to agricultural land. No. The proposed action may result in the excavation or compaction of the soil profile of active agricultural land.
Small to moderate because of the access drive, but that's a small area.
Okay, so small or moderate?
Small.
Small.
Small or not.
Okay. You said moderate, so that's why.
No, I mean.
Careful.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant to say just small because it's just the access drive, which can easily be pulled up
Sure.
and returned to its original condition.
Okay.
The solar panels and the diversion swales will not be compacting the soil.
Right. The proposed action may irreversibly convert agricultural land to non-agricultural uses, either more than 2.5 acres if located in an agricultural district, or more than 10 acres if not within an agricultural district. So it's not irreversible, it's reversible. So that would be no. The proposed action may disrupt or prevent installation of an agricultural land management system. So no. The proposed action may result directly or indirectly in increased development potential or pressure on farmland. The answer is no. Proposed action is not, the proposed action is not consistent with the adopted municipal farmland protection plan. I mean,
I don't believe the town of Dover has a farm.
right, I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's,
Haven't seen one.
this is an adopted, do we have an adopted municipal farm? I don't think so. Yeah. All right. So that's for now, we'll say no. Okay, so number 8, the answer is the question, the proposed action may impact agricultural resources. Yes, it may impact agricultural resources, but we believe that all the impacts are no, or that those impacts are small. Any comments there? Member Williams or Overdeer, Member Leno? Okay. Number 9, let me just save that. Number 9.
Yep. So 9, we start to get into
Impact on
some.
aesthetic resources. All right, so the land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. Okay, so your suggestion is yes. Okay,
While it's not a designated scenic resource, I mean, you have Boyce Park Overlook,
Yes.
which overlooks the entire Wingdale area.
mm-hmm.
That is an area that we've been focusing on and
Mhm.
having the applicant look into. So that's why it's yes.
Okay,
And it's pretty visible from that location as we've seen.
mm-hmm. So proposed action may be visible from an officially designated federal, state, or local scenic or aesthetic resource. So your suggestion is that it's a moderate to large impact may occur.
Right.
Okay.
Coupled with, the fact that it's, and we'll get to that when we get to the category, it's proposed, in conflict with these, with the zoning
Okay. Let's just take a
area. But
pause right there for a second. Attorney Polidoro, so the proposed action may be visible from an officially, it's not federal or state, so proposed action may be visible from an officially local scenic or aesthetic resource. Boyce Park is an official town park. Okay. Are we stretching here? I mean, I'm with you. I love hiking up there and seeing the valley, but is it officially a local scenic or aesthetic resource?
I think it's open to some interpretation.
Like, I think if
but-
it was, hey, you're building this solar panel farm right in front of the Dover Stone Church, I think you could say, okay, that's a officially local aesthetic resource.
Yes.
Um,
So, normally this question, an identified scenic or aesthetic resource, it is like Anthony's Ridge, like somewhere
Right.
that is a designated hiking point, or a view shed,
Right.
if
yeah.
it were the Adirondack Trail.
Or Dover Stone Church, which is, it's not, I'm just saying, if, as an
Yeah.
example, right, if you said, if the applicant owned the grass area around the ponds at Dover Stone Church, and like, we want to build a solar farm here, we could be like, wait, that's an official local scenic or aesthetic resource. So that's a moderate to large impact.
Right. So, I mean, it's more common to have those sorts of resources be designated. Boyce Park is a municipal park.
Right.
I leave it to your discretion as to whether that fits.
Well,
We
thank
did-
you for your advice being to listen to myself.
Yeah. I mean, look, Boyce Park
This is one of the harder ones
just a
to go
municipal
through.
park,
yeah.
right?
Right, yes.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I think like that overlook is nice. I mean, there used to be there used to be a platform there that you could paraglide off of.
Yeah.
I'd say
I
it's
remember that.
less official now. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the only one who lives in this town, folks. Like, what do we think?
It's been a while since I've been up there.
Yeah.
I think we get to the same concept when we get to community character,
Right.
without having to force
Yeah.
the question of whether it's an officially
Right.
locally
'Cause,
designated scenic resource.
My other concern, just on this one particular question, is if you say that building this has a moderate to large impact, then kind of not building anything, but building anything of a certain size in Wingdale then has a moderate or large impact because you could see it from that lookout. I mean, if you're at that lookout, you could basically see the whole southern part of town. So we'd basically be saying that if we build anything that is visible from there, you know, bigger than someone's house, then I just think
These are good points.
it just seems like a big reach.
And this is
That's all.
this is one of the questions that's tough to answer
It is.
because
I agree.
what is
Yeah.
a locally designated resource? I think the guidance says it has to be something that's officially like designated. as
Right,
a-
that's what I'm saying. It's not like,
So if it's
that's, you know, we have the Dover Stone Church, we have the Seven Wells Brook now. It's not,
Appalachian Trail.
it's not like we said, please come visit the overlook at Boyce Park. It's not an attraction. People don't go there. So could I
I
get
mean,
some-
I think based on this discussion, you could check this no.
I think
but we
a
carry this-
small impact,
we-
maybe.
we're going to get to it
I don't know
again.
about
think-
no impact. Well, no, because it's not official. Okay, that's
officially.
yes, I agree.
It could be a no because you don't have a
Official
resource here
designation.
that's.
And then you bring these same concerns to the community character
Right.
question, which
Okay.
comes later.
Okay, I'll change it.
And I think I buffed it up. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
There. All right. All right. Members of the planning board, any further discussion on number 9, letter A?
None here.
Thank you. All right.
Not even A, I
It's
think.
the main
big-
question, the
big
threshold
line.
question.
Well, the threshold question is the land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in stark contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource.
But we don't have the designated
have this-
scenic or
yeah.
aesthetic resource.
Right.
Well,
That's the heart of the
yeah.
question. If you don't consider Boyce Park,
No, I was just going it
Good
off,
reason
I was
for
only
local.
looking at letter A, that
Yeah, but-
it's not officially designated
but that's what,
local aesthetic or scenic resource.
That's
The
the
land use
same
of the
in
proposed action
Big
are
Nine.
obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. I say it's in a scenic or aesthetic resource, it's just not an officially designated local scenic or aesthetic resource. That's all I was going on with letter A.
no, I agree with you. Just when you look at the guidance,
Yeah, I have it
the
here.
big 9 actually should say locally designated scenic or aesthetic resource.
But then A is just a redundant question?
Correct.
That's not what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can read what it says about how to answer the threshold question, if it helps.
Okay, let's hear.
All right, yes, please.
This question explores the consistency in land use between the proposed project and other land uses that may be seen from or part of a scenic or aesthetic resource. It is oriented to those scenic and aesthetic resources that are officially designated and publicly accessible. Officially designated scenic areas include scenic byways, scenic roads, scenic areas of statewide significance, scenic trails, and scenic rivers. Other designated areas may also include places or sites listed on the national or state registers of historic places, state parks, state forest preserve areas, state game refuges, natural landmarks, and National Park Service lands. Note that other areas may also be designated for scenic and aesthetic reasons at the local level.
Okay.
So again, the question is getting to something officially designated at
As a
the very
scenic
time.
resource.
Can someone get me some water, please? I'm dying here. I'm sorry, thank you.
I don't think I have
mine.
any cups to put.
Okay, so,
I mean, based on the discussion, I think big 9 is no.
even though, okay, so like, the proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points. Yes. So that's what I'm saying.
Right. So
Yeah.
I had yes, and I had those answered
Right.
to get to those things.
This question sucks.
Yeah, it's not a great
I
question.
mean, you want to read, the new
I
forms
just-
are coming, I hope they're
Tell
not
us how you
worse.
really feel.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's like, you have the main question, but then question A is the same question?
Yes.
But just asked slightly differently, so you might come to two different conclusions? Thank you so much.
Well, in A, you get to decide if it's no, small, or moderate. Or I guess small or moderate.
Right.
Yeah, I
But
know.
in 9, it doesn't say, oh.
Look, I feel your pain and I live with it.
Same.
All right, again, I'm not the only person up here. What do we think? All right, slow down, everybody, not all at the same time.
I think it's right the way it is.
That, yes?
Check, yeah.
Okay. Check, yes, but that, no on A.
No on A.
Okay. I mean, that's a change from what it was. Okay.
But it's
Okay.
contradictory statements.
Guidance, like,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
I agree.
Attorney Polidoro,
Fine.
us not following the guidance, is that a problem? The guidance that is contradictory?
It's just guidance.
Okay, so
you
it's just
know,
guidance.
ultimately, it's your form, your decision.
All right. 9, yes. So far, A, no or small impact may occur. Any further discussion on that? B, the proposed action may result in the obstruction, elimination, or significant screening of one or more officially designated scenic views. I would say no, I would agree, no or small impact may occur. C, the proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points. So again, yes, but is that a moderate or large impact, or is it it's certainly not a no, but is it a small impact or a
Oh,
moderate to
you're
large
saying
impact?
potentially moderate to large impact, right? And then you're asking the applicant to, by checking that, you're asking for more information, right?
Right.
That they need to provide. So we've already heard from the public about Highview Drive,
Mhm.
how it's right there, and there's concerns that you're going to be able to see it from Highview Drive.
Right,
in all
but is Highview
seasons.
Drive a publicly accessible vantage point?
It's a publicly accessible road.
It's a public road, but is it a publicly accessible vantage point? Words have meaning. Like, they throw the words in here, they mean something.
I think, again, it
No one
means-
drives, to-
I think I need to.
Highview Drive is a great neighborhood. No one drives to Highview Drive to look at a farm that isn't being used. I mean, the people who live there look at it, and that's important, but that's not what this question is asking.
I mean, it's a vantage point, so.
I don't know.
Visible from Boyce Park.
I'd say, like, let's come back to it, but we still got, it doesn't matter, we got to
I
come back
just
to
want to
it.
be clear too, though, that when Planner Warner says it means ask for more information, at this point in the process, checking, unless it's been mitigated through this project redesign, you would be headed toward a positive declaration, which means through an EIS process, you would now be getting new
More
studies.
information.
and
Right.
Alternatives. Okay,
Yeah, okay,
not like next submission.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm thinking here is that the lookout at Boyce Park is a publicly accessible vantage point. Is that a small impact or a moderate impact?
I think it's a moderate.
Moderate impact. Okay. Seasonal and year-round.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll keep that there. The situation or activity in which viewers are engaged while viewing the proposed action is routine travel by residents, including travel to and from work, or recreational or tourism-based activities.
Right, you're not going to see it on your commute.
So I
but-
said
Right. No one's going to the top of Boyce Park on their way to work.
That's why it's checked.
But recreational tourism-based activities, yes. So it's a moderate impact there. E, the proposed action may cause a diminishment of the public enjoyment and appreciation of the designated aesthetic resource. So, small impact. I mean, there's something there, but there's still this whole valley. It's not as though they're putting it right in front of where you would look. So I can agree that it's a small impact. To that question, the proposed action may cause a diminishment of the public enjoyment or appreciation of the designated aesthetic resource. Any comments or questions on that? Okay, there are similar projects visible within the following distance of the proposed project. So 0 to 5, why does it have it 4 different times? Like,
It's a factual statement, and then you have to decide if it's an impact. It's another strange question.
so again, no or small impact, agreed. All right, so members of the planning board, number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. Are we saying it's yes?
Yes.
Yes. Remember, over here. Yes, okay. All right, looking at A through G, A, B, D1, E, and F are all no or small impact may occur. And then C, 1 and 2, and then D2, we're saying a moderate to large impact may occur. Does everyone agree?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
We're going to go through the whole document,
Sure.
and then we're going to go back.
Sure,
Can't keep going on about number 9 right
You
now.
got it.
I need to move on for a little while.
no problem.
Number 10, impact on historic or agricultural, impact on historic or archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource.
So I think the reason this was yes was because it's
I'd like to hear the guidance as to why. Yeah.
well, the site was identified in the EAF mapper, I believe, as being potentially archaeologically sensitive. So for that reason, you check yes, but they did consult with SHPO, and they have a no effect letter from SHPO on the project. So
So if they have a no effect letter from SHPO, what's the historic or archaeological resource?
True.
it's SHPO's archaeological sensitivity blob. It's called. It's not a scientific term, but it's the
No, it's not.
the area on there. No, it's everyone calls it that though.
Okay.
That's on the New York State DEC's environmental resource mapper. It's just a large area where there's potential for archaeology to be an
So
issue.
the proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. SHPO says there's a blob there.
No, and then SHPO said they've consulted.
So
and
you
there was
could say
impact.
no on this.
Say no because it's not a resource.
Again, yeah, I mean, occur in or adjacent to a historic, I mean, I would say if it was next to, if it was adjacent to the churches there on Church Hill, or the Tabor Wing House, or I can't point to an historic or archaeological resource that's right there. Yeah, the
Right.
Dover Furnace or something, but there's a lot of historic and archaeological resources in town. I just don't know that there's one adjacent to this site.
Well, there's not a
was a-
historic resource. So then
Yeah,
it goes
okay.
to the question of whether there's an archaeological resource.
Right.
And so it came up as potentially sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
but then they went the next step and they worked with SHPO and they came back and SHPO has agreed that it's not. So
Right.
Let me
Okay.
see what the threshold question guidance is.
So, again, I mean, I would think this is a no, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, are you saying to change the whole thing to no?
Well, that's, I mean, do you
We
think
have a-
that any of the questions?
We have a determination from the state agency that is the authority on this subject.
Right.
That there's this project after reviewing the plans, and I think they actually might have done a Phase 1A archaeology study. I'm not sure if that's been done, but they reviewed everything that SHPO had asked for, and SHPO came back with a no adverse effect letter for the project.
Okay. So I
So-
think the answer to question 10 is no.
That would be appropriate.
Correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to be thorough.
I understand. Okay, so number 10 is no. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or a reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. The answer is no.
This is pretty clear, because it's not a park.
Impact on critical environmental areas. The proposed action may be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area. Okay, so your suggestion is yes.
Right, because nearby is the Great Swamp, and that was checked off as, again, in the part one, it gets filled out automatically by the EAF mapper, and it does flag the Great Swamp as being in the area. So
Okay.
it's appropriate to check yes for that. Just again, it says C Part 1 E3D. The Part 1 threshold question identified it as being near one, so we check yes.
Okay.
And then we
So
go
then
through.
A, the proposed action may result in a reduction in the quantity of the resource or characteristic which was the basis for designation of the CEA. So no or a small impact may occur. Right. And the proposed action may result in a reduction in the quality of the resource or characteristic which was the basis for designation of the CEA. So the no, a small number. Okay. Members of the planning board, any comments or questions on number 12?
None here.
Number 13, impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. The answer is no. Number 14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
I think in this case they're generating energy. It's not going to be using much. So
Right.
it's a no.
Agreed? No. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. So your suggestion is yes?
Yes.
The proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation. And there's then your suggestion, a moderate to large impact may occur.
That's my suggestion based on the fact that we do have a noise study. We haven't fully signed off on it yet. We have some concerns in the neighborhood. We have some knowledge of an existing solar facility not far away that Engineer Berger, I understand, there's been
Yeah,
some issues with.
Engineer Berger, if you could maybe expand on that a little bit.
So, and again, the question says may produce.
Right.
So
May.
it's something that we're asking them to study further.
Yeah, there's a slight sound that comes off of the transformers and the point of connection.
Right.
That you may, if they don't properly screen or properly soundproof those pieces of equipment, that then the school could. And that's part of the sound study that AKRF is looking at to see that they do mitigate, but as of now, they haven't shown full mitigation of it.
Okay.
If I understand, if they do that, then the answer could change, correct?
Yeah, I think we've seen the report. My technical colleagues have been reviewing it. They wanted to see some additional backup that we're waiting to see from the applicant before they fully signed off, quote unquote, on the findings. We haven't done that, so I think for now we're still concerned about it as being something that's could impact the neighboring properties and the school.
Okay.
But again, it's your
Members
call
of
to
the
make.
planning board, any comments or questions on 15 being yes and A being a moderate to large impact?
Nope.
Okay. B, the proposed action may result in blasting within 15, are you doing any, there's no blasting proposed? So no. The proposed action may result in routine odors for more than 1 hour per day. No. Proposed action may result in light shining onto adjoining properties. We were fairly confident that's no or small impact.
And I think that question relates to like site lighting, not necessarily, it's not a glare question per se. But that's something that's we can address later on, that particular issue. But this has to do with site
I mean,
lighting.
It could do it, Claire. The proposed action may result in light shining onto adjoining properties. The sun hitting a panel, the panel hitting something.
We haven't seen that problem with the.
No, I'm saying, right, I don't think it is a problem. I'm just saying it could, it's possible. I'm not saying it's a moderate or large impact even. I'm just saying it's possible. Okay.
Thing of it is, it's a small.
Right.
Because we haven't seen that as a problem. on
I mean,
other storms.
the panels are proposed to move with the sun.
Correct.
So what is supposed to happen is essentially, it's always trying to be parallel with the sun. Therefore, any light is reflecting back towards the sun.
Correct.
Okay. So that would be no or small impact.
And the panels now are such that they don't reflect and glare like the original ones did.
Right. It's in our best interest to absorb
Right,
as
you
much
want as
light
much
as
light to
possible.
get- right.
Yeah.
But that was a problem with the first generation.
That's correct, yep.
Which now has been resolved.
Right, but also if it's static, you know, it's dawn. does this,
Static had that problem,
you know.
but it's been changed since the newer panel.
Yeah.
Okay. The proposed action, so then the proposed action may result in lighting creating sky glow brighter than existing area conditions. That's no or small impact. I mean,
It's probably closer to no, but
Right.
anything small.
all right. Any comments or questions on 15 B through E? Okay. 16, impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. Your suggestion is no.
I can get to I. From the state DEC, to determine if you need to answer the sub-questions in this section, you should ask, 1, is the project site on, adjacent to, or near a location that contains contaminants that may be disturbed, released, or leached out? And 2, will the proposed project use, create, dispose of, or store any hazardous substances as part of its construction or operation? If the project site is not on, adjacent to, or near a contaminated site, or does not use, create, or dispose of, or store hazardous substances, then there would be no related impacts. Check no, or small impact may occur.
Okay.
So I'm proposing no, based on, if you look at the aerial photo history of this site, it's been pretty much a field
Right.
as far back as like the 1930s. The DEC database that's used to answer Part 1 didn't show any documented DEC remediation sites or spill cases on or near the site. They're not going to be storing petroleum products here. There's no battery storage as part of this project, which is sometimes the case with some solar farms. If any of the hazardous materials would be, frankly, inside the panels, and those are, my understanding is solar panels are considered hazardous waste when they're disposed of after their useful life. But while they're operating, there's measures being taken to prevent anything from leaking out of them, right, and taking care, maintaining them. So with that assumption, the risk of this causing a contamination spill as a result of the solar panels is pretty low. So
Okay.
For
So
that
impact
reason-
on human health. We're going to go with the answer being no. Any comments, questions? No. All right. Number 17. Consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted
There you
land
go.
use plans. And your suggested is yes.
Yes.
yes,
Right. Because it is not consistent with community plans. Okay. The proposed action, land use components may be different from or in sharp contrast to current surrounding land use patterns. Your suggestion is a moderate to large impact may occur.
yes, and that's because again, it's the guidance says that moderate to large impact can be selected if the proposed project is not consistent in its proposed use, dimensions of the lot, dimensions and location of all structures, setback, size of the structure, accessory uses, and overall scale intensity with existing land uses and local laws and plans that encourage maintenance of such existing uses. So here we have the solar law that was put into effect.
Mhm.
It has setback requirements. This project is not meeting those setback requirements.
Right. So that would be a moderate to large impact may occur. B, the proposed action will cause the permanent population of the city, town, or village in which the project is located to grow by more than 5%. No. C, the proposed action is inconsistent with local land use plans or zoning regulations. Moderate to large impact may occur. Yes. Yes, right, moderate to large, yes. The proposed action is inconsistent with any county plans or other regional land use plans, so no or small impact may occur. The proposed action may cause a change in the density or development that is not supported by existing infrastructure or is distant from existing infrastructure, so no or small impact may occur. Proposed action is located in an area characterized by low-density development that will require new or expanded public infrastructure, so no or small impact may occur. The proposed action may induce secondary development impacts. Examples are residential or commercial development not included in the proposed action, so no or small impact may occur. Okay, so for number 17, consistency with community plans, the proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans. We're saying yes, and we are also then saying that there is that a moderate to large impact may occur for letters A and C. Any members of the planning board have any comments or questions or want to discuss those any further?
No.
No? Nope. No. All right, and then 18, consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character. Your suggestion is yes?
Correct.
And then going through each of the sub-questions. Proposed action may replace or eliminate existing facilities, structures, or areas of historic importance to the community. No or small impact may occur. The proposed action may create a demand for additional community services, school, police, fire. No or small impact may occur. Proposed action may displace affordable or low-income housing in an area where there is a shortage of such housing. No. The proposed action may interfere with the use of enjoyment of officially recognized or designated public resources. No or small impact may occur. The proposed action is inconsistent with the predominant architectural scale and character. So your suggestion is a moderate to large impact may occur. And then F, proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. And your suggestion there was no or small impact may occur. Okay, so let's look at just the guidance on this consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character in so much as there is not other solar farms
Right.
there.
Like what's the predominant community character in this particular area? Right. You have
Single-family home.
low density residential, a
Right.
school,
Mhm.
you know, two major roadways to go through it, and you don't have a utility, public utility projects located right in this spot.
Right.
We dealt
Or in
with
other
the
parts of town,
project.
but yes.
A substation up the road that, you know, this was talked about a lot for community character. It was, this board determined that the character of that area was predominantly high transmission, electric lines, a
Right.
power plant, so it kind of fit.
Mhm.
In this case, this isn't something that is, my opinion.
Okay.
But the question about predominant architectural scale and character, you know, that I checked yes or moderate to large on,
Mhm.
has to do with, you know, bulk and area requirements too, and those, you can't ignore those. And
Right.
we have a project that's not meeting those currently.
Right. Okay. And then also proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. Is there guidance on letter F?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, someone, I would think, could make an argument that the proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape.
So for that one, the small impact criteria or guidance is the project site is located in an area that already has a diversity of vegetation and a mix of cover types, and where land uses and the proposed use are similar to or already found nearby. 2, the project activities do not have other significant adverse environmental impacts, and the structures are sited in such a manner, such as with very large setbacks or significant buffering, so that the visual character of the natural landscape is not noticeably different. And 3, the change to the natural landscape is small in size and not in sharp contrast to the broader area. That's a small
So,
impact.
I mean, Attorney Polidoro, I mean, we basically, in 17, we're addressing the land use concerns with the zoning. Can we, in a sense, double dip on that in 18F, where if they were complying with the zoning, then there'd be enough setbacks, like Planner Werner was saying, and that it wouldn't, because of the setbacks, then the proposed action would be a small impact. It seems like because
mean,
of
I
what
think
they're
even-
actually proposing, it could be a moderate to large impact.
Even if they complied with the zoning, you
Right.
could still find that in this particular area, it's not consistent with the scale and character of the area, and then, you know, decide whether that's small or moderate. So I think even if it complied, you could still find that on this particular property, in this particular part of town, it's inconsistent.
Can I read the moderate to large guidance?
Yeah.
Significant portions of, in size and in importance to the community of the natural landscape are removed or changed, such as through blasting, grading, filling, or removal of predominant vegetation growing in the area. 2, there are more buildings, lawns, roads, and other structures introduced into an area that is currently rural and undeveloped. 3, a proposed project includes a road that is highly visible where no other built features can be seen. 4, structures taller than the predominant vegetation are introduced.
I mean, the predominant vegetation is trees that are shrubs and trees.
Scrubby. You could argue it either way.
Right.
So,
All right, so I would say we're checking off yes. I'd say as of this moment, out of abundance of caution, I would say proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape, that a moderate to large impact may occur. It doesn't mean it will occur, that it may occur, but obviously, I'm one person here.
Correct.
Thoughts?
I agree.
You agree? Mayor Williams?
I'm on the fence on that one.
On the fence? Member Lorbadier? You,
This one's
You
hard 'cause
agree,
you're not
okay.
Changing the landscape.
it's not easy.
just that it's, not that it's changing, but it's inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. But like Member Williams said, he's on the fence. I mean, like, that's what, and Member Villano said it could go either way. So there's no box in between, though. We have to choose one of them, so. All right, I mean, 3 of us agree that the proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. Every decision of this planning board needs to be 4 members. So, really up to you. Yes. I'm not trying to put it on you. It's just, it's just. I mean, it's just, it's good, like it could go either way. That's the problem, like you said. So,
I would defer to the planner in his decision.
who will defer to the attorney? Who will defer to me?
Whatever you think right now.
So the plan. No, you defer to the planner, Planner Werner.
this
Let's
point-
hear what you have to say.
Okay.
You original suggestion was that a no or small impact may occur. So looking at the guidance, as I know you do, you thought that why?
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at the 4 guiding factors for moderate to large, I didn't see anything that stood out because they're not like destroying the landscape.
Right. There's no like predominant roadway. I mean, I
Right.
was listening through all 4 of them. It didn't seem like
And again, this can revert back to what it was when the project ends.
true.
So
Right, they're keeping the natural slope, well, in some sense.
we're trying to work with the terrain. That's what these projects usually do.
All right. Can you read through the moderate to large impact guidance
Yeah.
again for
All right.
18F, please?
Significant portions in size and in importance to the community of the natural landscape are removed or changed, such as through blasting, grading, filling, or removal of predominant vegetation growing in the area.
All right, so let's stop there. Let's just do each one. There's no blasting, there's no removal or very little removal. Again, when we had our site walk, I remember that member Holmes, who is a arborist, said these aren't trees worth caring about. Where they were going to cut down trees, like in the western part of it, kind of over the edge of the hill.
We have a forestry report that supports that finding
Right.
as well. so.
Okay. What's the second one?
There are more buildings, lawns, roads, and other structures introduced into an area that is currently rural and undeveloped.
Well,
So there's an access road.
Remember the road here?
you are introducing the solar panels
Those are
into an
structures.
area where there's
Those are structures.
not a solar panel.
Okay.
A proposed project includes a road that is highly visible where no other built features can be seen.
That's not, no.
And then structures taller than the predominant vegetation are introduced.
No, how old are the solar panels? They're
when the tables are in their most upright position, 15 feet.
15 feet. So possibly,
Possibly taller than the shrubs and bushes.
right, especially if it's up on the hill. And Mayor Williams, what do you think?
I'm going with the planner.
And the planner's saying?
You already have another moderate to large in this category, right? So to be extra thorough, you could add this one to it too. And it's all part of the same thing we're asking them to look at, which is.
Right. They just may have to do some additional study
Yeah,
and
it all falls under issue of visibility, compatibility.
consistency with the community character.
So I don't see the harm in having that checked off.
So you don't see the harm in it being moderate to large?
No.
Okay. Remember, William? So, okay. So we're going to change it to moderate to large.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's the end of the document. Nothing.
I would
has
add
been-
one, well, there is just something to think about.
Yes.
The DEC is in the process of updating the EAFs.
They are, sure.
It's not official yet, but there's a new category that has to do with environmental justice and disadvantaged communities.
When does it
And
become official?
no idea, because they haven't announced when. They released the proposed changes earlier this year. They had a comment period that ended over the summer, I want to say. And as of now, they haven't given any guidance on when this is going to be official, but they are advising lead agencies in areas that are designated as disadvantaged communities, which we are in one. Wingdale has been designated as one. The census tracts that make up Wingdale are identified as a DAC, it's called the disadvantaged community.
Yeah.
That they should assume, look at these issues in determining
Right.
significance, and if there's an environmental impact statement, that it should include an analysis of that.
Is the proposal, which they haven't adopted yet.
Right.
Come on, DEC took 2 years to adopt the new stormwater
They take 90 days to do nothing, so.
But there's also, DEC has a role in this, in that if DEC has a permit that they have to issue,
Uh-huh.
they have to look at it, and they have to do an analysis too, under the law, under the environmental justice citing law.
Right.
So, and I believe this does have a permit requirement for SPDS, State Pollution Discharge Elimination System requirements for stormwater. So the DEC has a permitting role here, so they would be looking at this, these new regulations, as
If
part
and
of
when
that.
they get around to adopting them.
Right, so I mean, the conservative thing to do would be for you as lead agency to have this addressed so that it's covered by your environmental review. That would be
I'd like to
my,
hear from the attorney saying that we should do something that we're not required to do.
So look, if
I'm not
after-
opposed to it, I just don't want to say, yes, we have to do this, and then the
No, you don't.
applicant could be like, well, you don't have to do it, you're choosing to do it, and that's a problem.
Well, you don't have to do
Legally.
it. But at this point, if, right now you have an EAF form that does identify some potentially large impacts.
Yes.
The next step is for you to evaluate whether those impacts can be changed, mitigated through project change, or whether you want to go to a positive declaration, which
Right.
would trigger a scoping document.
Right.
If you go the EIS route, as part of scoping,
Mm-hmm.
you could include this new disadvantaged communities discussion, because
Right.
it would just be one more thing they have to address as part of the scoping document, which gives you broad discretion to identify potential impacts. And I
Right.
think that would be appropriate, since it's coming anyways.
and the change could happen while you're in the middle of review.
Sure. Okay. But just with all that being said,
Yeah.
there's no 11th page in this document.
No.
It's 10 pages
It's not
long.
something we look at this moment.
Okay.
And this came up with the Transco project as well.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so
It still wasn't adopted then.
at that time, it was definitely not applicable, and now it's potentially applicable in the future, so.
So to follow up on the stormwater permit, which is the only state permit they're going to go for, right now, there are no guidance within the stormwater regs.
Right.
To take that in consideration when we file an NOI, which is the notice of intent
Intent.
for the stormwater. So we're not being advised to look into it, do any of that as part of our NOI. So they would, if they were to file their NOI within the period of time that we're working,
Right.
it would not come up.
But if you're going to scoping, then it is prudent to include it at that point as one more thing for them to take a look
Which
at.
a lot of EISs are doing around the state. I can attest to that.
Right, but we're not at the point of an EIS.
Right,
We're at
I'm
the
just
point
saying
of
that
this-
that's happening.
This form. Okay.
You have a lot of EMS.
All right, so let's just do a quick review of the yeses, and just no decision has been made by this planning board. We're going to review the yeses. We're going to give the we'll review the yeses. We're going to
Reviewing the S's the way they were originally.
no, how they are in this form in front of all of us on the screens.
Okay, so is this considered something that we're going to review because it was checked yes? Or is it something we're going to ignore because we said we were going to change it to no?
We can review every single one of these if you want.
Well, I just want to say that are we going to vote on approving everything as being final as far as this form goes tonight? Because I would like to take a look at the historic survey.
Right. We
Or-
do not have to vote on it tonight. And certainly, especially considering quorum is 4 people and there's 4 of us, if one of us is not comfortable, then there is no vote. So my suggestion right now is let's just review through these. We can, I think it would be prudent to, just check through the 12 comments we had at the public hearing, and then, there's some additional comments that came in, just to, see what, make sure we're not missing anything from the public. And then obviously, the consultant can give their input as to what they think for each of these answers. All right. So what we're saying now is that impact on land, yes, but that there's no or small impact on the other parts of it. Number 2 is no. That was geological features. Number 3, impacts on surface water is yes, but all of the sub-questions were a no or small impact. Number 4 is impact on groundwater, and that was no. Number 5 is impact on flooding, and that was no. Number 6, impacts on air, that was no. Number 7, impacts on plants and animals, that's yes, but all the sub-questions were
I'll be right
no
back.
or small impact
Just
may
taking a
occur.
restroom break if that's okay. I don't want to miss anything, but
Sorry, what?
restroom break really quick.
You're free to go
Thank you. I
anytime.
just want to make sure that.
Number 8, impact on our agricultural resources. Yes, but a no or small impact on all sub-questions of number 8. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. So we are answering, the question is yes, and we are answering 3, or rather, not 3, well, we're checking off 3 boxes for moderate to large impact may occur under number 9. Okay? So impact on aesthetic resources, the land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. We're saying yes, and that letter C, the proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points, and that will have a seasonal and year-round moderate to large impact, maybe, because it may occur. And D, the situation or activity in which viewers are engaged while viewing the proposed action is, number 2, recreational or tourism-based activities, that may have a moderate to large impact that may occur. 10, we're saying no on impact on historic and archaeological resources right now, but maybe Member Lorberdier would like some more time on number 10. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation, no. Number 12, impact on critical environmental areas, yes, but we're saying that there's a no or a small impact may occur. Number 13, impact on transportation, no. Number 14, impact on energy, no. And just to be clear for everyone, it's because the proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. So we're saying that that's no.
It's going to be generating energy.
Generating, not using. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light, yes. And that letter A, the proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation, and that that a moderate to large impact may occur, and the rest are no or small impact. 16, impact on human health, no. 17, consistency with community plans, yes. That the proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans. So again, saying yes means that we're saying it's not consistent. And that we're saying that for letter A, the proposed action's land use components may be different from or in sharp contrast to current surrounding land use patterns, and C, the proposed action is inconsistent with local land use plans or zoning regulations, saying for both of those that a moderate to large impact may occur. And number 18, the proposed action is inconsistent with the existing community character. We're saying yes, the proposed action is inconsistent, and that for letter E, the proposed action is inconsistent with the predominant architectural scale and character, and F, the proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape, saying that a moderate to large impact may occur. Okay. All right. Okay. So, did anyone? Was there anything from any of the public's comments that kind of jumped out for anyone in terms of again this the filling out of this form? I'm seeing a number of people who are saying that they may be in favor of solar, but this is just not the right spot for it, and that I think speaks to community character. I think some people have some concerns about construction noise and traffic during construction, but as we fill out this form, we believe that those would have a small impact and not a moderate or large impact. The cutting of trees and clearing of land. Minimal concerns over glare. We think that is probably not a concern, is what we're with just the current technology. I mean, it is. Someone brought up about its proximity to Wingdale Elementary. I mean, I walked from the back of Wingdale Elementary to the site. I mean, there is some buffering of. We did that, I think, on the first site walk. The very first site walk. Yeah, I think there's certainly some tree buffering there. I mean, I think the only people who would see the solar farm from there are maybe any of the staff that use there was like a little table in the woods, I think, where they go on a break, right? So, and if that is a true concern, I mean, I would think that we could ask the consultants to do some, not the consultants, we can ask the applicants to do some screening or something if it's appropriate. And then, obviously, a number of people brought up that it's, it doesn't comply with the zoning, proposed zoning that they need to go to the ZBA. So, okay. Was there anything else that jumped out at anyone? Okay. No. Okay. All right. So you've heard us go through this form. I'm sure you have some thoughts. Okay.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll just skip right to section 9.
Okay.
We agree with everything up to that point.
You agree with 1 through 8?
That's correct, yeah.
All right.
So we're satisfied with those.
All right. So we're
I think
halfway
those make
there
sense.
because we're on page 6.
Yep, I'm going to
Okay.
try to make this easy on everybody. So we'll skip to page 9. We also would agree with changing 9A to no or small impact may occur. With respect to 9C, the proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points, seasonally or year-round. We just want to note that it's important to note that seeker distinguishes between visibility and a significant adverse visual impact. Visibility in and of itself doesn't necessarily constitute a moderate to large impact under seeker. The distance between the project and the vantage point at Boyce Park, just nearly 3/4 of a mile, makes it difficult to credibly argue that its visual presence will be a significant or detrimental impact. And you can see that in the VIA, where you see the outlook. It looks over thousands of acres of land, and in leaf-off conditions, you'll be able to see the solar panels from up there, but we believe that's a small impact, if any.
I just want to do just a check-in right now to your reasonability. So if you were proposing this on the upper fields of Boyce Park, where from that vantage point you'd be looking right down on top of them, would you say that that's a moderate to large impact?
I think if it took up a huge portion of the view shed, yeah, I might agree with that. But I think as it is now, you can see that, just like when you're at the top of a tall building and the cars and the people look like ants, we're 3/4 of a mile away. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty far away. So
Okay.
we think that the visual impact assessment
Right.
speaks for itself in that regard.
Sure.
I'll skip to then.
Sure. I'm acknowledging you said something. I'm not agreeing.
Okay.
And again, these are, just remember,
Fair enough.
the no or small or moderate to large may occur, right? And it's basically the planning board's and the lead agency's way of saying, we don't have enough info, maybe you can provide a little bit more. If that
Right.
takes the form of more submissions or a different type of submission in a different type of document, we can get to that. Then
Sure.
that's what this is saying.
Sure.
Okay. D2.
Yep, situation or activity in which viewers are engaged in while viewing the proposed action is recreational tourism-based activities. Again, the visual change is small in scale to the surrounding landscape. The view shed from Boyce Park, again, spans thousands of acres where there's limited visibility during leaf-off conditions. Also want to point out that most recreational use of that trail would occur during leaf-on conditions where it would be less visible. So that would further mitigate that potential impact. I'm sure people go up there in the winter. I would if I lived here, but just to point that out, we anticipate the majority of that going on during the summer. 15A, so we'll skip down to section 15 again. Everything 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we're in agreement with. The question about 15A, the proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation. We understand that there are outstanding questions on the noise study. We have obtained additional information from the manufacturers on that, and we'll share that with the planner. But that confirms that the noise study as it's submitted is accurate, and that those measurements of the baseline were taken at 1 meter, or about 3 feet. So that just confirms that that noise study should be accurate. It clearly shows that the noise levels are considered, quote, very quiet on a typical sound pressure relative loudness scale. The Town of Dover zoning law prohibits noise in excess of 50 decibels during nighttime hours as measured at the property line. That threshold goes up to 60 during the daytime hours. The project is well below the 50 decibel threshold at all times at the property line. So we would anticipate that that would be no or small impact. Sort of further to that point, it's important to remember that those noise studies are taken in chambers with no topography, no vegetative buffers, and no wind, no humidity, no ambient conditions of any kind, no road noise, no noise from train tracks. So when you sort of add that all back in, those factors being present in practice, we don't anticipate that the project would produce a moderate to large impact under seeker regarding noise.
Okay. I mean, I guess can you clarify why you would point out all those other factors? I mean, you're trying to make it out to be like we're supposed to isolate your noise from every other noise, but that's not the real world. There's
Right.
noise, and
Right.
you are potentially adding to the noise.
Right.
And so you can't add to the noise at the property line. We can't ignore all the other noise.
Right, but
And then like, well, your noise isn't, so, I mean, if your noise pushes it over the threshold, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
yeah.
We don't live in a lab. Like, that's,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that if there's ambient noise at the property line that's louder than what is in the noise study, we can't control that. What we do in the noise study is we say, isolated, this is what it is at this distance, and decibel levels don't get added up like building blocks. That's not really how it works. It's a logarithmic
No, it's a
scale,
logarithmic
so-
scale, I know
yeah.
that. No, but what I'm saying is, say it's 49 decibels at the property line, you do whatever you're doing, and now it's 51 decibels at the property line, that's not what's allowed.
Yeah. Again, I would say that the noise study, we believe that as it's done, it's accurate.
Right, I'm
and
not
it-
saying that you're going to exceed the level, we're just having
Yeah, yeah.
concerns about it at this time.
Yeah. But I would say that wouldn't result, as the noise study shows, it wouldn't result in a moderate to large impact, because what we understand is that the noise produced from our system wouldn't exceed those thresholds, just like it's written in the bylaw.
Okay, we need to look at that, but nothing's been
I'm-
decided yet.
And
I
we'll,
would-
and again, we
I would-
we have that question from the planner, and we'll provide that additional documentation.
I would question, though, whether there's actually maybe something we need to add under F, other impacts, because I understand that technically they might not be exceeding the decibel limit in the code.
I know
but-
Engineer Berger's talked of like a low hum.
But there could be the potential for a really annoying sound that doesn't exceed it, but that is constant.
And
And-
that's, in our code, it actually states that.
Mhm.
The decibels is one measure. There's also the distracting sound
Right.
description within that noise ordinance, which doesn't have a quantification in decibels
Mhm.
or hearing.
Yep.
So, I don't know if the report has actually addressed that.
I don't believe it does, but
Or maybe we put it under other impacts, which is, potential to create constant, there's a word for it.
Ambient sound, ambient noise.
What is it?
It'll just change the ambient
Very
noise condition.
similarly, everybody in the board is familiar with generators who produce that similar type hum,
Mhm.
other type of small ACs and create that. And when you're in an urban environment, what we do is we put acoustical panels around those. And we did that at Cricket Valley when we had to hum from some of the air compressors, and some of them, we were still under the 50 decibels, but they were still clearly sounding on the road and at the property line. So what Cricket Valley did was place acoustical panels around
Right.
so that those sounds would be absorbed or deflected back to the site,
Right.
and it did solve the problem. So there are mitigating measures if the applicant chooses to propose them or not.
Mhm.
But there are mitigation measures to mitigate the, if you want to call it the hum or the annoying sound that may in fact be under the 50 decibels, especially at nighttime when the ambient noise around 22 drops to, it fluctuates, because I've spent many a night on 22 taking sound readings for Cricket Valley and Transco, and it'll run between 45 up to 60 decibels. But when the cars aren't driving, you're 2 in the morning, you start hearing, you look at the sound meter, you're down around 45 decibels, but you're hearing some sounds.
Sure.
And those are the sounds we're concerned with.
Right.
I- Is it
Do
all right
you
if I,
have any recollection as to where in 107 it points to, like, annoying?
the reference to the decibel
right.
level is in 145, I believe.
Right, but the noise ordinance is in
Well,
107.
so I think it's 107-3A, the creation of any,
Unreasonable,
disturbing or
unreasonably loud, disturbing or
unnecessary noise is
unnecessary noise is
prohibited.
prohibited.
It's
So-
interpretive how you read
yeah,
that.
it's not a black and white standard.
Oh, I know.
So then the things underneath it are per se annoying or disturbances, but in A, there's leeway
Right.
for something to be of such a character that it's a
That's what we
disturbance.
used at Cricket Valley to try to.
so there's
Yes.
just two thoughts here. So one, I certainly do not want to leave a project with a community that people find it is constantly annoying them from their sound perspective and inhibiting their ability to enjoy their property. Cricket Valley, to distinguish, is an 1,100 megawatt AC project, and ours is 4.2 megawatts AC. So there's a difference there.
Oh, yeah,
And
no
then-
one's saying it's the same thing.
And I think to address like the potential concern I know that we are not there right this second, but we would be amenable to, if we get there, and hopefully when we get there, including a condition of approval that builds into the process. If a formal complaint is submitted and the building inspector or the town engineer inspects the site and finds that the sound is annoying, because everyone's, discretion is different, what they consider annoying. They say, yeah, that's pretty unreasonable to deal with, then we will be responsible for providing some form of mitigation. But I think at this time,
You're saying post-construction?
post-construction, at this time, I would be candid to say, I don't know what we would ask the manufacturers to provide, as far as like what annoying noises their equipment produces. We do have the decibel ratings, but I think that might be a reasonable solution for consideration to that.
Right.
Well, in Transco, what we did was we provided a post prior to accepting the plant that once it got in, we're in that process right now, not only doing the sound study, but at the discretion of the building inspector and myself, we're going to be monitoring the sound studies at the conclusion. And if there are additional issues that we have, that they're going to remediate that before we give them a sign off.
Right.
I think if anything this board chooses to do, it should be prior to giving a sign off and during the, the startup of the facility is when it should be checked, not 6 months later after it's done.
Right.
Because it'd be difficult to get that done once it's signed off,
Okay.
if the board chooses to do that.
Engineer Berger, in your experience with the other solar farm in town, have you heard,
No, the location
annoying
here,
noise?
luckily, it's not too bad. And we did put a lot of trees up to help with the sound.
right?
We did have issues, Don and I, we had several issues after it was done before we signed off for over 6 months, where we worked with them. And
Right.
one of the solutions was adding a lot of trees along the buffer between the one residence, that group of residents on the
Yeah,
left.
there's like 2 or 3
Yeah.
houses there.
Yeah, right there on the north side. And we buffered them from where the facility was on the far south side. So we were concerned, we did have concerns, but they worked with us and their solution was adding additional buffering with trees, natural buffer.
Okay. All right, so Attorney Polidar, do you think there is a potential?
I'm just trying to distinguish between an actual noise level established by the local regulation, and then F, which might be, potential for persistent low-frequency humming or sound.
Okay.
I don't know, it's up to the board, whether you think that
What did
there's
you
a
just say?
potential for,
What did you?
I think it's low-frequency humming or low-frequency.
Is it low frequency? Is it high frequency? Is it?
I'm not sure whether it's low or high, I just know.
Okay, just potential for humming.
I'm not electrical, so I don't.
It's usually
Persistent humming?
Like
low
you-
hum from a
you think it's like
transformer. I've been in many electrical rooms.
You think the product's folksy? It's just gonna be humming?
Yeah. Do, 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 do. No.
Potential for, I don't know if I can.
I think
potential
it's
for humming.
persistent humming or
Persistent noise level that would result in the ambient noise condition to be
Noise
an
levels.
annoyance.
Usually it's noticed late in the nighttime when
Yeah.
all the local sound drops down below
Right.
50. During the day, you don't notice it. So if you go out during the day and you walk around, you say there's no problem there
Right.
because the ambient noise is up around 60 to 70 decibels.
At night, our system won't produce any electricity.
so right maybe.
It's
you
true,
can
it's a
address it
solar
that
farm.
way.
He's right.
That's true, but they were humming on the other one, so.
Right.
I'm not a solar expert, I just know
Yeah.
what we heard.
Right, sure.
So
Let me just go to this.
if the newer equipment is better too, and that should be pointed out that that's an older solar farm. I think what they're proposing with the mitigation stuff is something the board can consider because it's
Creation of
an
a,
issue they're willing to do
Annoyance. Yeah.
creation of a disturbing noise.
And then I think that would create annoyance, create a risk of annoyance.
Oh, here we go, yeah.
Yeah. if you look at the last sentence.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's where she wants to go.
That could, like what was done by the other solar farm, there was increase in the tree buffer between those. It absorbs the sound and also blocks it.
May create. May create annoyances.
So their suggestion to provide mitigation down the road could be part of the modified solar study, right, Aaron? And then brought forward as a solar repair.
Yeah, there's a few ways it can be done, right? They could update their study now, but also the board's at the point of trying to make a determination of significance, where we could, if it goes one way, if there's enough here that they warrant that this be a positive declaration and there's an environmental impact statement, that we get the noise study just gets incorporated into that EIS process and gets reviewed by us again, the public, and then there's mitigation that's proposed as part of what an EIS is supposed to do, which is introduce mitigation that can be done to address the adverse impact that's potentially identified. So we can continue reviewing submissions, or we could take it to another step, which is a formal environmental impact statement process, which is prescribed. It has,
Right.
you already have an issue with zoning inconsistency, and you have the zoning board expressing concern, you have the public expressing concern. So that's another way it can go. Or we can continue reviewing submissions and making findings off of those to an eventual negative declaration, if that's what the board wants to do. There's a couple of paths you can take.
All right, so Attorney Polidoro, potential for persistent noise which may create annoyance and contravention to local regulation.
Yeah.
Members of the planning board, number 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Letter F, other impacts, potential for persistent noise, which may create annoyance and contravention to local regulation. There, a moderate to large impact may occur. Is that agreed?
Yes.
Yes? Yes? Yes. Okay. All right, so you were saying on letter A, you don't think that, and also you don't agree with letter F.
That's correct. yeah.
Okay, so let's just get down to the real meat of all this. So 16 is a no, 17
Yeah,
is consistent with community plans, and 18 consistent with community character.
right.
This, as proposed, goes against local zoning. It's your turn.
Sure. So for 17A, the proposed actions, land use components may be different from or in sharp contrast to current surrounding land use patterns. To that, we would say, the project was studied carefully with respect to existing vegetation, natural topography to help reduce the contrast of surrounding land use patterns. If you can't see it, you can't tell that it contrasts existing land use patterns. We've conducted some additional analysis on the visual impacts of specific homes in the area, and what we're going to do in the submission that's forthcoming for February is we'll propose screening to address those to make sure that everybody is screened out effectively. We've talked a little bit about other uses in the area. There are other uses in the area that are comparable in scale, character, and land use. Those would include the other solar farm in Wingdale. There is a large agricultural operation with greenhouse infrastructure covering more than 8 acres, just over half a mile away north of the site. There is a modular home manufacturing facility covering approximately 11.3 acres, just about a half a mile northeast of the site as well. So we feel as though that would be a small impact there.
Right.
For 17C, the proposed action is inconsistent with local land use plans or zoning regulations. the comprehensive plan does call out amending the zoning code to include solar and alternative energy use. Solar isn't allowed use in the rural district by special use permit, although the project does not comply with 3 specific dimensional provisions in the solar law. It's compliant with the remainder of the law, which is pretty extensive, and the project does not require a use variance and is largely consistent with the town's solar law, except for those specific dimensional requirements. And that's all the comments we had for section 17. Moving down to section 18, so 18E, the proposed action is inconsistent with the predominant architectural scale and character. Although the project, like I said, does require area variances due to the irregular shape of the lot, the previously completed Caesar with NICEAG, that sizes the project at 4.2 megawatts. The project's occupying 16 acres out of a 48-plus acre lot, so that's about 33% of the lot. The project is designed to minimize the height of structures, specifically placing all the utility lines underground where we can, except for where they sort of rise to meet the lines that exist on the road. Agricultural districts in New York are working landscapes that routinely include barns, silos, irrigation equipment, and other visible infrastructure. It's not an agricultural zone, but we've talked about farmland a little bit, and there's others in the area. And then again, we would refer to the other uses in the area that I identified for 17, and would say that the project's height, scale, finish are consistent with the working landscape. And are less intrusive than other permissible uses in this district, if anything. And then I'll note for 18F, proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. I would ask what is consistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. I think Planner Werner mentioned blasting buildings, things of that nature. This is nowhere near that scale. So we would argue that should be marked as a no or small impact on 18F. And that is all I had, except for just a few notes. We've talked a little bit about sort of the routes we can go. Planner Werner's mentioned sort of 2 choices here, and to that we would, obviously say that we would much prefer to work with submitting new materials and work directly with Planner Werner and directly with this board to address these concerns here, as opposed to going the full environmental impact statement route. Represents, a significant delay in the project. I think there's been ample opportunity for the public to get acquainted with the project, and we've, obviously committed to trying to be as transparent as we can, creating this website so people have easy access to the latest materials. We currently have an open public hearing before the planning board, and as you all know, we need to get the seeker termination done in order to get back to the zoning board. I misspoke.
We don't.
Right. So we have an open public hearing in front of before the zoning board. That'll remain open until we sort of work through seeker here, and we would ask for the opportunity to work through these issues here, get back to the zoning board, and continue discussing those area variances with them without having to go through the full EIS process, feeling as though that's maybe a little excessive. We've submitted a lot of materials. We're happy to submit more, but we're not sure. We talked a little bit about proposing mitigation potentially for any noise impacts that occur, if they do occur. Things of that nature we're happy to talk through more of, but not sure what going through a full environmental impact statement would really benefit anyone. So I think I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any members of the planning board have any comments or questions at this time? Down here. No? Okay. Member, everything good?
Just give me a minute.
Okay. We're still recording, right?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
still recording.
Okay, I see it. Okay, thank you. Okay. Member Lorbertier, you would like to have more time to review
You like the stream?
Well,
different parts, or at least one part of this.
just wanted to check the historic survey. Because it says in or adjacent to,
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
I mean, is that okay, or is that
Oh,
gonna
okay.
be like major change in the
Streaming
calendar?
isn't getting video.
Streaming isn't getting video.
so
It's still
she's-
recording though.
She's got to check into it.
Okay. But it's still recording.
What?
She said it's still recording.
Yes.
Okay. So it's still recording. So streaming's not working.
Tube, it's just.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I mean, hearing from member a little over here that she may need more time to review a part of this, and knowing that we need 4 members of the planning board to vote, I don't know that there is an. I think the vote would be potentially 3-0 with an abstention, and then that's not a positive vote. So I would say that as of right now, this is the current thinking of the 4 planning board members that were here tonight,
Tell her this sounds bad.
and
You
we
could just
have.
change it back to, I mean, I don't wanna, I don't.
It's not. I mean,
No, I don't have any idea what we were supposed to get through tonight,
Mhm.
because I wasn't able to come to the meeting.
yeah, that's okay.
So I only changed it, so I didn't print out all of the, what the plan was. So is part of the plan for tonight that we have to get through this?
No, I mean, we got through this. It's the part of the plan tonight. It is not that we have to vote on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
I
I
mean,
don't,
you know, if there was a majority of the 7 members of the planning board that wanted to vote on this tonight, then we could vote on this tonight. But, you know, I think it might be best, just given how there was a number of things where, you know, a number of points in this where it seemed like, well, could be a small impact, could be a moderate or large impact. You know, maybe we all should need to just take a step back. We have another meeting in 3 weeks.
Right, and voting, I mean, all you would be voting on anyways would be the form of the Part 2,
Right.
because the next real substantive vote is whether or not you want to do a neg deck or a pos
okay.
deck.
Yeah.
And so what.
But I don't want to say like, no, we need to vote tonight, and then
Yeah.
3 weeks from now, you or whatever, we're like, you know, someone else is like, you know what, actually, now that I think about it, I don't want to go back on a vote like that. So.
What you could authorize in the meantime is for the consultants to start working up a Part 3 draft, you know, maybe with options that could be modified, so that at the next meeting, you could either be prepared, you could be prepared to vote or not.
Just to kind of keep it moving along through the process. Okay?
It's the part 3 on the form itself, not like a whole
Well, yeah,
reason, right?
well, no, I mean, with reasoning.
Based on the
Because it's only
current,
one paragraph in the form.
True.
based on the current choices that
Yeah,
this
based on the
planning
current
board members
choices.
have made of yes and no and. okay.
And so the applicant has asked, I mean, this is where the decision point is going to come. You've identified some potentially large impacts. And now the path.
Moderate to large impacts.
Yeah, but the moderate, it's the large that.
Sure.
That triggers the POS deck. So the applicant has asked you, you know, give me a chance, let me address this and prove to you it's not going to be a large impact through project change and through some design plans.
Right.
So the path can be to wait to see what happens with the applicant, hold off your vote, see if it changes anything down the road, or you go forward through the formal
Right.
EIS process, which will then give them the opportunity to again present that information, but in a more formal setting where there's going to be, you know, mandated public comment and mandated scoping
Right.
and timelines, so that the process has a clear path
Sure.
how it's going to continue.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about having the applicant respond to these, should the planning board wait until that response comes in before you discuss this and put this off until we get a time when we have them? And do you have a time period when you could reply?
I mean, obviously, you're not replying in the next 2 days. So,
That's right, yeah.
so you're not making that deadline.
Correct. I would ask if you could help us understand what you would like to see, you know, in addition to what we've talked about here with the commitment to evaluate any noise impacts, what else can we provide you?
Whatever mitigation based on where the yeses were, and there's a moderate to large impact.
Right.
You have to provide your answer to mitigation to them to pull them down to not large.
Or some study or something, you know, something factual that says, you know, you think it's moderate, it may be moderate to large, but in fact, here's why it's small.
True, and you know, again, I would, as you all know, reiterate, you can have, you know, things checked off moderate to large and still, you know, issue a negative declaration under seeker. Just want to state that. So, yeah, we'd be happy to do that. As I said earlier, we're working on a submission that gets to the screening. So I think that should get to some of the community character questions for the February meeting anyways. So if, if you would like to.
I would just add that, you know, one of the things that the seeker process is good at doing is it can initiate changes to a project, right? It can be done in this fashion. It could be done through a formal EIS where there's alternatives that are mentioned, right, that you're required to take a look at. So there's another ways to go. It's just as Attorney Polidoro was alluding to, you know, an environmental impact statement process does have prescribed milestones, prescribed timelines, and, you know, you have an involved agency here in the ZBA that's waiting for you to make those findings.
Right.
And they can't act until they have that, and they would be a participant in the process as well if you were to go that route.
To summarize,
As an involved agency. So it's the board's decision to decide if you want to continue with just what's basically an expanded EAF with supplemental studies that we review and comment, and they, you know, to your satisfaction, or move forward to a formal environmental impact statement where a lot of this stuff will be rolled into that and repeated, which is done a lot. But you have a timeline and you have milestones and a process that is good for everybody.
Formally, couldn't the applicant provide a draft Part 3 to the planner and to the consultants to review and incorporate into what typically the town prepares as a Part 3 to present their position on why these may or may not be actionable or disputing what the town is saying? And that format could be as a draft Part 3 for the town to review, correct?
yeah, I think the only issue would be that, I mean, in summary, you want us to keep moving, but you don't like this document that you're looking at. So the idea that they would propose a Part 3 would be, we don't like this, here's what we like. I mean, I'm being simplistic, but let's just kind of get this over with.
So what that would look like is, that's something that you did for Harlem Valley Homestead? Like all the areas that were checked moderate to large on the Part 2. The applicant prepared a Part 3 report that kind of went through, had each question and then a whole narrative underneath about why it's not a moderate to large impact or it's being mitigated. That's another way.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Right.
It can be done. And draft is not for the board to accept or use. It's just presented to the board for consideration. Instead of just speaking it in an oral environment here on the record,
Yeah.
more presented to the board in a formal environment as part of seeker.
Yeah, we definitely will formalize, I think, some of the responses that we had covered and provide documentation to lean on, which is, you know, again, hard to bring up verbally, as well as imagery and such.
Are you anticipating that you would be able to meet?
I think you were talking about February.
Right, there's a deadline for January 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I think that's reasonable.
people do stuff in the next 2 weeks that kind of gets away from.
Yeah, no,
productive,
we're, you know, we definitely do, we definitely do want to make an effort to keep this moving forward. And
Okay.
and it's not, I guess our preference is either direction. I don't want to try and sway the board in one decision or another.
Your preference is either direction? That's not
As
a
far
preference.
as far as a formal EIS or not,
Right.
what I would ask, though, is the consideration when entering into an EIS. A big part of that is exploring the alternatives that are viable, as well as the mitigation. If essentially this project has been before the planning board for a year, we have been providing mitigation, additional studies, justification behind alternatives or why we can't entertain those alternatives, we can further go down, each one of those and continue to look at those. But I guess the question is like what value
Well,
the EIS would potentially provide.
I can address
And
that.
we can, again,
I
we're
just-
happy to do it.
And I want to start just by saying the year bit is a little misleading because you weren't really actively before the board for a year. So I just, for the record, I want to make sure that's clear. You really only came back in October, in earnest. So the benefit to the AIS process, as we've discussed it, is that we've had applications before where information comes in, and then we say, oh, you know what, one more issue, and then another issue comes up, and it ends up dragging on.
Dragging out, yeah.
For months and months and months.
Right.
Because either we didn't know about a potential issue, it came up during a public hearing, and what that does is it causes, at that point, the applicant gets mad that things are being raised last minute. The planning
Right.
board feels like, oh, I'm sorry, we're raising this. The public
Right.
feels like they're
And
not
28
being heard.
condos never get built.
And so the benefit in a project like this, which is, I will say, going to be considered somewhat controversial compared to other projects we've had, is that it provides a clear process for getting all the impacts out at a specific time and then
Right.
having them reviewed so that there's not these.
Yeah. Drip, drip, drip.
impacts that
It's
come
there.
up
Here's the
later.
document. What do you think of the document? Right.
Yeah, so that is the benefit, not necessarily an alternates discussion in this particular case. It is useful in other projects, but a process. But,
Yeah, we also have those-
we've done the expanded neg deck before too, and it's worked, it just,
Yes, but remember, we have these new possible changes to seeker and our identification of disadvantaged community and environmental justice issues with a community that's been voicing a lot of concern about
Yeah.
these types of projects being concentrated in the town. So,
Mhm.
while I don't think, I'm not going to draw conclusions, but the idea of the analysis in that case is to determine if something is causing a disproportionate pollution burden on the public. I wouldn't argue, it's hard to make a lot of arguments that a solar farm pollutes necessarily, but, looking at it cumulatively, like with other utility projects, that's part of what the analysis makes you do.
Right.
So it's just, again, it's something that's coming. It's been raised by the public, and it's something that is worth looking at just to protect the town.
Okay.
So we
Anything
have
further?
our homework cut out
Mhm.
for us.
Yes.
We're going to aim to submit at least a draft part 3 for the planning board and the council to review. What they do with that, that's entirely up to you all.
Well, have yourself a merry little submission.
The updated site plan will be submitted, and we'll also try and get some additional information regarding the noise study. Is there anything else at this moment in time that the board or the council feels would be potentially useful to address some of the topics that we've covered specifically, or?
not for me.
No? Members of the planning board, anything further? Anything jumping off the page for you?
Do you
No?
propose to take a look at the new potential question 19 on the forms, which has to do with the environmental justice citing and
We all looked at the
It's a
screen
shame
like it was
she
going to appear. So-
yeah, it's on.
We're like, nope, still not there.
Something to consider.
Question 19, TBD.
I mean, this is like
It's
we're
tough,
waiting for
but-
like an Avengers trailer to drop or something. Like, when's it going to happen? Who knows? It's going to be thrilling, though.
Again, because it has DEC permits, it's something that I don't think we should ignore it, but because it's going
I-
to come up with them.
I agree, but I don't know. I can't. We got to just move on with our lives here. Like,
I would say if the DEC responds back in relation to the permit requesting that information, we can certainly provide that. I truthfully don't even know what the question is at this point to address. I understand.
Whether you're
it's a-
going to have a disproportionate impact on a disadvantaged area. I mean, you can give us information on that.
would the planning board request that information as part of our supplemental submission?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't want to request something that is just like not required, but then might be required at some
I
point.
would say take a
within the
look at
next
the
month to
proposed
2
changes
years.
and the guidance, and they have they have an analysis tool that's on DEC's website. I would just
Okay.
take a look at that, and
We can definitely take a ponder. That's exactly, not just the question, but like the criteria and how we justify or quantify that. If it is publicly available, we certainly can take a look at it and include that in our draft Part 3 response.
Great. Anything further you wanted to discuss?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Did you want to propose like a question 20 for the DEC to consider in the future about
Sure.
impacts on AI with respect to projects?
Don't
All right,
limit it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Member Palmer, you can come back to adjourn the meeting, I guess.
Oh, I think he probably left.
He did not.
Oh, he's here? Oh,
He is a dedicated public servant.
Boring hour and a half of my life.
And you weren't even in the room, so. All right. Next meeting is January 5th, Monday, January 5th, with the deadline of this Wednesday, December 17th. We will be having at least a public hearing.
That's it.
And we'll see what happens in the next 39 hours, I guess.
good match.
Okay. And then the meeting after that would be Monday, February 2nd, with a deadline of Wednesday, January 14th at noon. Is there any other business before this planning board?
We set the hearing.
No, just I'd like to say that we have a new software for the agenda.
Right. How's that
We're
going?
still working on the glitches, like I said last month.
Right.
We're still in training,
Right.
and we're doing our best.
Yes. Also, I'd like to say, Member Roman,
Yes.
she had submitted her letter of resignation to the town board. She said her goodbyes at the meeting we had in November, because we didn't know at the time whether we necessarily would have this meeting, so she was, but I thought she did a fantastic job in her 7 years serving on this planning board, serving the public for the town of Dover. So, Member Roman, thank you. And the town board might be approving a new member to replace Member Roman's position. I mean, there will be an open position, and it is up to them to do what they are going to do. So we may have a new member at the January 5th meeting. We may not. That's up to the town board to appoint a member to fill out the rest of Member Roman's term. I guess, 2 years to go, I think.
She replaced
I think she finished up like
Dave
Dave
Warlock.
Warlock's term, and then was appointed to a 7-year term, and I think it's been 5 years since she was appointed
Yes,
to a full
2
term, so
years
I think there's 2
probably.
years left. So, all right. So with that being said, everyone have a safe, enjoyable holiday season here. I'll make a motion to adjourn, seconded by
second.
Member Robadier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.